Hello everyone!
Hello.
Hello! Hopefully you can hear us because as you can see it's only me and Fabian. We don't have Dave, we don't have Jairo. None of us has actually done the stream before.
We've just been trained very quickly to handle the technical side of the stream.
So we expect things to go again a bit bad, but it'll be fine, we'll manage. You hear us, that's a good first step. People do hear us. We even got like a more lousy camera today. It's like there's an event going on in the studio and everyone has to be busy to help with that. So
we are in our stream in a little corner of the studio.
Cool. So everything seems to be fine. So I can start saying hey to people.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna say hello to Guto, to Soaring Eagle, to Techno Angel, to Streetwise, Chronos Prime, to Primetime. And hello to Scorch, to Mr. Cupcake, and that will be it for Twitch, I think.
Cool. I'll do some people from YouTube. So hello, Olga Mogudova. Hello, Howard Choi. Hello, Deckard BBJ. Hello, Optimus Prime. Victor Benef. Deadpool. Drunk Avatron. King Pui One. Jason Kaupinen and Aiden Tardif.
And on Facebook we say hello to Ken Vetter, Sean Henson, Brian Stevens, hello to Michael Peterson, Britt Formers, Brian Sago, Michael Koopman, and to Rob Quinn as well, hello to Al Vega, to Charlie Lay, Jason Perry, Peter Hodgson, Anthony Quisp. And that's
it.
Yeah.
So hello everyone and welcome to another exciting stream of Transformers X-Force. So for this stream the agenda we won't cover that many things. So mostly we're gonna go through the usual, the event coming up, the dialogue that everyone loves, and of course we're gonna be showing our new characters that's gonna come out this week, Rook and Blood. So we haven't actually showed them before at all. Okay. So it will be the first time that you're actually sitting in the showroom. You're gonna get a preview of the battle, of the ability and everything. So we're gonna show for the first time everything in one go. So it'll be a big stream just for them, and of course we're gonna do like Q&A, trivia later on, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep, so for the Q&A you can already post questions. I'll keep an eye on the chat. I will write them down, put them in a doc, and then like when we get to that later,
cool.
We'll get to your question.
Very much. So let's jump straight into the game. Hopefully this will work. Yay, it works. The event is called Welcome Party. It's an alliance leaderboard event. We know it's a bit it's not a favorite. We do it though a bit more rare than we used to, but it's still like a case for like the top alliances to get to show how good they are, and also people to like do a bit more competition than the other. With most of the other things, it's like you and your alliance just trying to get a reward. We want every now and then to get the alliances to fight themselves.
And to show their muscles a little bit.
Yeah. So and also this is like it's. The new bots, they're part of the combiner, so it seems to be a good time to do it. So, without, sorry, is it too loud?
It's a little bit too loud.
Yeah,
we should be fine now.
Yeah.
We're not in the red, so yeah, we turn down the volume very
bit. The gain down might be too low. I don't know. I'll try to short it down. The auxiliary. Good. So maybe that'll be good. I hope that works. Okay, cool. So let's go through the event. So there's a lot of rewards in here, even for the people that before you even go to the leaderboard side. I don't know if there's no summary. There we go. So we have the 2-star Rook or Blood as the first reward. We have premium shards, we have 4-star shards, 3-star shards, energon, more energon, more stars, more shards, So we have like the usual like energon stars for 3-star and 4-star, and then the final reward for the alliance can actually push to that, which is like a lot of good spark. I think it's pretty much is around 100,000, 100 something thousand sparks. So that would be pretty good for the alliance. So I can actually just finish the Totalizer, and of course like a few stars here or there. And after that, we go to the rewards for the leaderboard. So the alliance that finished first gets another 50,000 spark, gets the 4-star Rook crystal. The other 2 to 3 get 40,000 spark. 5th alliance 45 gets 30,000 spark. And then for the leaderboard ranks below number 6, you get a 3-star crystal, 10 premium crystals, 15,000 sparks, and it goes on and forth. You get like more, you get as you go down the rankings, you get spark and a bit less premium stars crystals. So yeah, that's the usual setup.
Yeah, that's the usual leaderboard.
I think I don't know, like if Carlos said you did tweak them a bit, I can't remember from the last time, but this is setup. I think the plan is to change it going forwards, but at the moment it's this one. So hopefully you can play and get like some awesome rewards just by participating in the Totalizer, and if they can rank in some position, they can get a 3-star or a 4-star both and more rewards. So yeah, leaderboard event. Make sure you participate and try to have fun. Turn off the music. So if the music is low, who knows?
Oh wait, it's going to be
oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, you guys. Right. Sorry, yeah, I had the music for the iPhone too high, and I was thinking I was actually reducing the mic, which actually what you guys wanted to hear. Sorry. So for all the people that missed that, yeah, we just went through the Totalizer rewards for the leaderboard. Like I'll just do a summary because probably the iPhone just like music just cover me. So you're gonna get like a lot of shards, a lot of energon, and if you can get all the way to the Totalizer, you get spark. And the rewards are the usual, like the top 5 get a 4-star crystal plus more spark. Everyone below, like the number 5 spot gets like a 3-star. 3-star board crystal, and they also get like a progressively less premium crystals as they go down and spark. So that's a leaderboard. Hopefully now you got it down and everyone can actually hear us properly.
Right in time for the dialogues.
Just in time for doing dialogues. So shall we jump into that then?
Yeah, so the dialogues, as you probably noticed, like we released the Titans, and that was the end of a big story arc that Simon was working on that started with the twins and also like the prime cores and all of that. And after that, like Simon told us, like, oh, it would be nice to actually reset the story a little bit and go back to some kind of like more regular Transformers story, more related to the Earth Wars. And yeah, so this is what we restarted.
Yeah, it was, I guess. It was nice for Simon Furman, our writer, to have like a whole overarching story and actually go there. But I guess after a point you have to make a call. We were actually keep dragging it around the end because we wanted to finish with the Titans and they were not ready. So a lot of people were like, when is this gonna happen? This has been going on for like months now. But so that story is finished and onwards to the next stories.
Yeah, which is some sort of like leadership contest on both factions. Like on one side, Optimus Prime is like giving away his leadership, and they're trying to find who's gonna rule the Autobots. And on the other side, the multiple Megatrons are just fighting for the leadership. So yeah, there's kind of like a parallel story between the two.
Yeah, gonna move this to the top because it will get in the way of the dialogue. So yeah, let's go through doing some dialogue. Are you ready, Fabian?
Yeah. I haven't read the dialogue yet. I haven't read the dialogue in a week, so
you might want to use the phone then because I'll be able to see it from here. I keep trying to press the play now on this thing. It's not a good idea. There's the Rook.
Hey guys, I missed any action. That fleshy thing manning the space bridge told me to get my aft right over here.
Rook, you're a new protector bot.
You better believe it, Blades. I may look fresh out of a Cybertronian military academy, but I know battlefield tactics and maneuver inside and out. Let's go.
But if Megatron's here, where's Deathosaurus?
I'll go first. My Durabilium super alloy armor is more than a match for their firepower. Follow me.
I'll say one thing for a new recruit. He's not exactly the retiring wallflower type. Look at him go.
Not an idle boss either. Rook really is that tough streetwise. And while he's busy drawing the cons fire,
we're free to circle around behind him and close the pincer. Textbook battlefield tactics.
Come on then, what are you waiting for? Let's show Megatron with the prongs and the minicons what it means to mess with the protector bots.
And their aerial bots.
Switching the armored vehicle mode. Stand back, cons. Rook's coming through.
Look into my eye, not around the eye. Ugh.
God, this is not going to plan at all. With the element of surprise lost, so is any chance of my claiming the enigma of combination.
So what now? Seems to me a straight choice between staying and getting our asses kicked or making like shepherds and getting the flock out of here.
Yes, agreed. But that's not to say, Lieutenant, we can't leave our mark. Streetwise is down.
No leakage, I'm on it. My hydraulic claw will haul our protectable pal out of harm's way. And then first aid can patch him right up.
Come for Rook for his handover. But does he have to be so darn chirpy all the time?
Cut him some slug blades. We are a team again. The protector bots are back. And how? Yay.
So yeah, it's a nice introduction to Rook because as many players and I've mentioned in the chat, some people were expecting Groove.
Groove unfortunately died in our universe.
He died on Cybertron during the past war against the Titans. So unfortunately the protector bots were for a while, and Simon introduced Rook, the new kind of like crazy recruit.
It's actually a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people know what's coming up. We are gonna have soon, or quite soon, a new combiner coming up. I guess it was like we were trying to find out who's gonna be the people that take part of it. And in this case, we wanted the Rook to be like G1, but the man from the top decided no, it actually has to be Rook.
So Rook is actually not G1, is he?
He's not G1, but he's the part of differential that's part in the latest versions of it. And I guess Ham's Pro want to keep this. I mean, they probably would be fine to just Groove as a chess piece, but then that would be 6 bots versus 5 bots on the other side. So unfortunately, Groove had to die in order for Rook to rise. And there you go, Rook is here.
That was also a question, like, will eventually Groove come as a chess piece? Don't think so.
Don't know, maybe in the future, but usually, it would be too much of a hassle to change him post-humanly. I mean, there's also, I think, Menasor, and there's a bot missing which also has a chess speed. No, actually, I don't know if we actually have him. He's just not. No, he was off-road. He's part of him, but he's not part of the lineup anyway. And it's confusing, because through the years, all these the teams that makes a combiner actually change, and then you have to follow some standards, and then it's just you have these bots they could be part of them, but they're not really part of them.
So it changes in the story depending on which TV series or series you have, and also you have too much for the game, and making that all happen at the same time sometimes. There's gonna have to be sacrifice.
So apparently the challenge bundle is live now in the game, and there is a problem with this Decoy not actually doing his ability because we have not pushed that live yet. So yeah, we were still tweaking him, and there was a problem that we were talking about disability.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't know he was live, so I was still gonna do the push later. So there might still be a problem. Like if that's live, I might need to push this now. But first of all, let's like load the game and actually just start going through these bots while I do the rest. Do you do the honors? It's all here.
Okay. So we're on pre-prod here, right?
Yeah.
So we can do the challenge battle. No.
Let's go through in the showroom and show them because we have not actually saw them at all.
So we're gonna show Rook first. So yeah, we haven't had those in a while, but Rook is a warrior. It kind of made sense because of the lore, like his armor was like really strong, so we decided to go for a warrior, and also because we hadn't had one in the game for a while. He's part of the protector bots, so this kind of squad that like protect and rescue bots and humans. He is looking like a police car. I think there is a SWAT little sign here, and we can see him transform. During this transformation, you're going to see he has this like kind of like sword.
It's like a claw.
It's like a claw, yeah. So he's holding it, and it's also like here on his SWAT form. It's probably some sort of like urban kind of like
it's a
fighting.
It's an IPC that the police used to. The same thing like with Nakatomi Plaza in Die Hard, where they just raided in.
Something about like against urban riots or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so that's him. You can see the transformation again. It looks quite cool. It's quite on the big size kind of thing. You'll see like he's a warrior, so he's kind of like big if you look at him against other bots. Maybe we'll see it later in the squad. Just wanted to show. So yeah, did we talk about? Yeah, we talked about the ability already.
So well, we briefly mentioned it. So we should talk about it properly.
So the ability is an explosive decoy. It's like it kind of works a little bit like Nightbird in terms of like you start the ability, you can choose where you're gonna deploy a decoy. This decoy, the same as Nightbird, doesn't do any damage. It takes 65% of Rook's health, which is quite a lot as he is a warrior. And what it does, it's when you drop it, it attracts the defenses. So it's a really nice way to just like try and divert the damage that are done in an area onto this bot. So that means that you can, if you have like, you can drop it. That's feeding a little bit in the protector bot's lore.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna drop this and it's gonna like prevent other bots to get damaged.
The idea I think behind this ability is where it's not really unique and interesting, but at the same time, like this is a tank. This is someone you just want to be in front and to soak up the damage. And I think from what he does, he's pretty good. I mean, his health is really high, and like 65% of that on the decoy is pretty much like another 12,000 like bot that you can sitting around. And when it actually dies, actually gives you the added bonus of doing the damage. But it's meant to be like one of the old classic tanks. Go in front, take all the damage in front, and then like just let the rest of your squad just be fine.
Yeah. And the way to use it is like you can drop the decoy, get all the damage, then it explodes, make some damage. But same as Nightbird, you can only have one at a time. Yeah. So that means that when it dies, when you trigger a new one, it's going to die and it's going to explode again. Mm-hmm. So if you want to use it at different timing, you want to explode it earlier, you can also just like drop it somewhere else, and then it's still going to make the damage in one point and drop another decoy in another point.
He's a bit more expensive though than Arceus we're gonna see in the thing, because of course like the damage, like Arceus is kind of like just you can lock down a building, but then he has a bit less health because Arceus by himself is not really a tanky tank. He's more like a DPS tank, so his base health is lower. So the idea with him is that it's gonna make it more expensive because he like the decoy is gonna give you a lot of health. And of course, we added like extra of doing the damage when he dies.
Plus, the damage is in this case it's an area damage, so it doesn't do damage only on one building, on like multiple ones, as we're gonna see in the battle. Should we show blood or should we show?
No, let's show blood first before we actually go inside. And blood is the most interesting of the two, for sure. It's always Decepticons have the coolest kind of. Actually, blood is unique in a way that we had to actually make a new animation rig because we didn't have a bot that
looks like that.
I mean, most of the times, like most of the bots have the same animation rigs because it's either going to be quadruplets or bipeds or some of the weird like spider things. But he was quite.
He was
different.
like he's still a biped but looked like a monster. So yeah. So yeah, it looks like that. You can see the head of the monster down there, and he has some claws as well. So if he's gonna transform, it's gonna look like this.
It's such an interesting guy.
Yeah, it's such an interesting guy. I don't know like exactly what kind of animal like, they were going for in the first place. But yeah, that's how he looks. Same thing, like yeah, same ability. He's gonna like have a decoy and it's gonna fight in battle for you and explode.
Boom. Just from the other way around. Yeah, I do like blood. It's I mean, and also the I think the people doing the terracorns have been like really interesting.
Yeah, and they make a very interesting looking combiner as well.
Yeah, well, spoilers. Colorful combiner for sure.
Yeah, should we go to the challenge battle and display the ability?
Yeah.
So yeah, as mentioned, like some people have seen the challenge battle. There is a bug in game right now.
It's fixed now, but you might need to restart before you actually get to experience it. But yeah.
Yeah, designing this decoy that was exploding was a bit of a challenge, and there was bugs until the very end, but it's all gonna be fine now.
Cool. So I'll let the master actually go through it and explain what's happening.
So it's a bit of a Protectobot dream team, apart from Cybertron and Jetfire in the challenge battle. So what you can do, as soon as they come over there, you can see they use their damage towards the bot, but you can divert them by sending your decoy in there. And as soon as he attacks, it's going to attract the defenses to them. I'm just going to use some other ones. I'm going to use a little bit of Blade's ability, that's quite cool. And then so as you can see, the decoy is still taking damage over there, but if you wanted to interrupt it and drop another one there, it's going to explode and we can see the damage in the area.
Oh, that's a really good damage.
That's pretty good damage for a warrior.
So his base, I mean, it does go up by quite significant. So he starts at 5 and it goes up by 3?
What are we talking about? The damage?
The ability, no, the mana cost.
The mana cost, yeah, it's 5 initially and then it goes to 3. So, yeah, it's a bit expensive, but as we can see, the damage was quite strong here.
And pretty much, I mean, you shouldn't be using it as damage. It's like it's good to do that, especially I think when you use it to pop out outposts in advance. You actually want him to die and get soak all the damage and die. I don't think anyone will just be like, let's deploy them there, blow him up in order to do the damage. That's not how he's designed. It's all about like the same with RC. You just throw it in the mix of the outpost, bots, and other defenses. He gets all the brunt of the damage. He pops, he soaks the ability, and then he just can reflect the damage back by exploding. So I think it's going to be really good. And also in outpost form too, like that's a lot of health that you can have in your outpost combined with the other bot, and also of course the added bonus, like when he dies, it's going to be exploding. So I think it will be actually, it is quite basic, but I think it's really good for what it is. Yeah. I mean, after a point, like there's only so much different and weird things we can be doing with abilities, so we have to actually do some basics every now and then. But
we also want to keep like things relatively simple.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to have like too complicated abilities because they need to be kind of like usable at all time and for a lot of like different situations. So yeah, so this I'm going to use Streetwise ability. Which is a bit of a support one.
There was a question about which core would be better for the new bot. That's an interesting question. I've not actually thought about it. I guess anything increasing his health will of course be like vitality, just a straight vitality one would be.
He already has a lot, so if you had a percentage of vitality.
I mean, of course, prime course. I mean, if his health is pretty high enough and you don't need the extra one, he's probably be a good candidate to assign on the prime course that will help the rest of your squad in a way. But I think Vitality Core will probably be one of the best options. Rejuvenate, yeah, of course, as a tank he will get that, but I don't think the rejuvenation will carry on to the decoy.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so if you want to enhance the ability, so increase the health of the base health of the decoy, probably Vitality will help more, because then his base health is going to increase and the inherited health that the decoy is going to get is going to be more. Because Regenerate will keep healing this bot, but the decoy is not going to get any. It depends on how you're going to use it. Like, there's a lot of options. It's nothing like you have to use it like that.
Yeah, that's about it for the bot. It's pretty simple to use, and I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for raids as well.
Yeah.
Where damage is in.
I mean, more damage, more things to soak the damage from all these things. Some people are asking about this, the remaining health in the buildings. No, this actually is just a debug feature that's not going to go in production. We just needed, we didn't actually have this until like a few months ago, and we were trying, which one of the reasons why we keep having some issues where we don't know how much damage a bot should do. Before that, we were like, oh, that's 20% of something, or the QA had to sit there and just keep adding all the floating damage numbers to see how much damage a bot was doing.
So when we receive like a report from some players and they'll say like, oh, this bot does that amount of damage and it's not the same in the description, that's what we use this helper for.
Yeah,
when
so,
we try the game and everything, that's really useful. So we can make sure that the bot deals the damage that we tell you it does. We were actually checking this today.
Yeah. And we don't want to give this information because even more people will be bothering us. Oh, it's not doing exactly for me damage, and it's like, yeah. So it's nice to have some things hidden and also make it less of a number of games, because there's a lot of things like rounding and things like that.
That goes into the game, and like some stuff comes into mastery, and the rest everything has to be
cool. So I don't know if there's actually more questions. We can actually keep, I guess, the bots in the showroom and so get them a bit more while this is happening. Have you seen any questions?
Is Blade still an ideal bot?
No. Well, it might be in collections. I don't know if we change him, but he's gonna be moved to a new category, protector bots, that's gonna be coming soon. Yeah. So no, I think maybe we make a mistake because we like, oh, if it's another flyer, let's put it to area bots. So, but no, he is a protector bot, and he will be a protector bot.
Will Rook make a good 5-star to get in the future? I think we're far from that. He will.
Yeah, we can. We probably the next round was gonna be like in 5 months. I don't think we're even gonna put like bots that new in the game at that point. It's an option, but eventually we're probably gonna have a lot of those bots in there. There was a question if the more like generic questions outside the bots. There is asking like if Perceptor now can hack op bot automatically.
Can hack
like bots automatically that are on the outpost. And the answer is yes. Perceptor now has a leads maximum effect that's passive to him. We don't say anywhere in the game because there's not enough space.
It was part of the 5-star buff when we did that, because some players were saying Perceptor was a bit of an underwhelming bot to be a 5-star, so we added this.
So now he can hack any bots for 5 seconds, I think, when they get near him once in during a game. So yeah, he has a leads maximum passive area ability. The same as Snarl.
Snarl, we added like some sort of passive
fire thing, which is pretty much the same as Megatron. So those two bots were part of our 5-star buffs, and he has some interesting abilities. Because I think from what I've seen, like people are enjoying Perceptor a lot now. And I'm using it now in my game, and it's like really fun to just have this passive leads maximum. When you have your main tank, you don't want to give it to Perceptor with guns, but yeah, it's really good.
There was some question about this as well. There is no point in adding a Lige Maximo to Perceptor because the effect is already there. So save your Lige Maximo for another bot.
And it's not gonna stack or
because it's not gonna stack. So if you have a Lige Maximo, put it on another bot and you'll have a better advantage.
Let's see if there's any question. There's like, when will Galvatron reappear? It's been too quiet lately and that worries me. I don't know, Fabian, since you talking with Simon, do you have any insights for that?
No, I don't have any insights. The text for the next saga is not here yet. Simon is still writing it. But I mean, it would make sense. It would make sense in the story.
There's some questions if we're gonna add more Cybertron bots based on the Fall of Cybertron game. I don't think the plan is to do that yet, because there will be, I guess, versions of characters who already have. We did want to do this at least once for when we did the release of the Cybertron canvas.
Yeah, well, a bit of a celebration having the Cybertron canvas.
But in the future, for sure, like there's some really cool designs out there. I do really like the one from Shockwave.
Yeah.
It transforms into a really nice Cybertronian vehicle, and he actually transforms while in our game he doesn't even transform yet. So I don't know, maybe in the future we can actually have something like that.
Somebody is asking, what's the equivalent Decepticon of Snarl?
Hunger.
It's Hunger, and it also has this nice fire effect.
Sorry, we're talking about Autobot because I'm really useless in Autobot player. I guess we'll be talking like that and not say Perceptor slash. What's equivalent?
What? Reaper Snapper.
No, Perceptors equivalent.
Bombshell.
Bombshell or Snarl and Hunger. It gets a bit like, I mean, we should be doing that because a lot of the Decepticon players feel they are not loved because we don't mention the bots. So a lot of times, but habit, like we say, Skylinks is a problem, but it's not Skylinks. Like it's always usually Blitzwing at the same time. So it usually goes for both factions. So whatever we try from now onwards, at least what we do for one bot, to do it for the equivalent from the other side. I know there's still some cases, I think there's still some inconsistencies between the two pairings. It's part of our to-do thing to go in and actually tweak them to be more the same. I think part of the original bots we released, Adam, the designer at that point, felt he wanted to be a bit more different. So he tried to do like the Autobot side has more attack, while the Decepticon side has more health. But in the end of the day, like you're gonna be annoyed when you're and the Decepticon player and the character can actually destroy more things, the same character that you can actually own your side. So it is planned to actually go through and actually change them in the future.
Would there be a core just for combiners?
Well, everyone's favorite core is just that, the Nexus core.
But you equip it on the board. I think players have been asking also if there would be core equipable on combiners.
We don't have the tech, and it's actually going to be quite complicated to do. So that was Nexus Prime Core, even though people don't like it, was our only way to do something for the combiner. And that's why we want to keep it as a combiner, even to some people's frustration, because there's no other way for us to give a core to a combiner. We don't have the tech, and it would be too complex to actually do it. So at the moment, Nexus Prime Core will be there. All the people that don't like it, well, you will get all the prime cores eventually. So
yeah, I mean, if this is the first prime core you get, it can be frustrating, maybe a little bit. But in the grand scheme of things,
you get all of them eventually. It's just a matter of time. So cool. There's some other questions about other bots, other 5-star bots being buffed. The ones from older ago. We always go through a round of like okay, let's go and revisit some bots and make some change to them. People are saying blast off. I don't think there's a problem with blast off in particular. I think there's more of a problem with more of the air bots that are a bit weaker because the defense are stronger. So there is a plan eventually to just go and do something about them to actually tweak them, but nothing to comment at the moment. yeah, I mean, people say like the Warriors Rust. There's things we're considering for sure, but we also trying to do quite a few things at the same time, like fixing bugs, doing some other things, investigation of reports. So it's not like we have all the time to all do the but. So in time, all these things will come. Cool.
Will we ever get another research lab? I don't think so.
No. Not a research lab, definitely probably some point in the future upgrade the research lab, but the idea and the main of the game is always been to keep one research lab, to have some kind of, you have to wait or you have to want to rush the research. It's a problem, I think, for junior players. Maybe there will be some time we can do a community event, we can actually help those players like by decreasing some of the upgrade times, but I think after a point where you get a bit of the hurdle, it's a good challenge to have. Like you have like, oh, which pod is my priority that I want to get up there.
It's at the beginning when you get like a lot of new bots, like you get to level 10, level 20 really fast. Then you have like a little bit of a queue in the research lab, but otherwise.
Cool. Let's see, what are any other questions?
What about buffing structures?
I don't know, since it's your only 5-star.
It's my only 5-star.
What do you think about structures?
I talked to you and I said like, oh, I got structures as a 5-star, I'm not really happy. And you told me structures is very powerful. I was like, okay. So we're not doing anything.
Structures, I don't know, in my belief, it's, a lot of people say he cannot one-shot walls. Like it's not just about that. Like getting him to do to leave the wall with a 10% thing can be actually pretty strong. And his health is like a lot of he's I think one of the most the bots would have the most health out of everyone. So I think he's good. Maybe we need to, I don't know, maybe adjust the ability cost.
Yeah, I think it's a bit expensive.
To make it a bit less expensive, but he's pretty powerful in the high levels. Like he can destroy like time traps like no other thing. But yeah, I'll just leave to the designer because he makes the decisions here and he has the bot. So hopefully he can actually do that. People say structures do damage with no walls around. No, he's a tank, Mason Fall. He's a tank, his job is to reduce the walls. I think we'll keep it to that. If you want to do other damage, then there are so many other bots to do that. I think he's good for that situation. Because the whole ability is designed to work with how many walls there are around. It's to be too much of a change to just do damage normal.
People are getting very annoyed by the fact the lab color doesn't match the base.
Well, yeah. It's gonna come, but it's gonna have to have a purpose to match the base. So stay tuned. In the future, we will try to make it the same color, but it does need to have functionality. And when that comes, yeah, you will actually change it. There's a lot of people trying to disagree again with things like, look, it's not just our opinion, it's a lot of opinion of other players, and of course you guys have your own opinion, but this is what it is. You can give us your feedback for sure. We are getting feedback from our community, from our Discord, from during streams, so we will listen to that, but there's a lot of things like, oh, this board is not good, but at the same time I see people saying this board is too powerful, do not touch him. Or I say, well, I use him and I can see that he's good, and a lot of people using him successfully. So I know some people maybe don't put the effort or don't use him correctly, and there's cases like that, or it is actually not powerful enough, and we will keep looking at it. But yeah, we can always oh yeah, these people just don't like it, or we just buff it, while other people just don't have agree. It's really hard to just come up with a balancing or a correct kind of agreement with everything. But just guys, give us your feedback and we will work on it.
Should we do some trivias?
Yeah, let's get some breather of actually other questions and collect ourselves. So
I think on our side that was all the content we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, it's pretty basic for this time around, but like to solve new bots and get some. It's a good opportunity to do some more Q&A than usual. Do you want to go with the trivia?
Yeah, we're gonna go with some trivia. Just a reminder, so you can post your answer on any chat and live stream we are currently on, but you need to give us your in-game name, alliance name, and HQ level. So give your answer, these three things, alliance name, username, and HQ level, so we can find you in game and send you some rewards. So the first question is, on Cybertron, time is measured differently to Earth. How long is one brim? Is brim the name of the time measure on Cybertron?
How long is one brim? I guess it is. Well, as always, our questions come from the lovely Nathan. So usually knows his things, so we can trust in him.
Interesting.
Cool. So let's get some answers. Is there any other questions I've missed we can do in the meantime while people try to answer or Google?
I see some answers which are different from the answers that we have. So far, no good ones. I see some answers and people not giving the username. Yeah, give your player name, alliance name, and HQ level. I can see players. I cannot see them.
Another question, like they're asking if we're gonna have more characters from that poll.
From what?
So we had a poll back in the day where they decided that they wanted to have Rodimus Prime and Motormaster as the characters. And if we had there was a few other bots in there, if we're gonna put some more characters from that poll.
I don't know. I haven't seen that one. I don't think I was on the team back then.
No.
There was, we kind of decided recently to add 2 new characters to the game, sometime in September, and something that have been requested quite a lot.
Yeah,
so we can't tell who yet, but...
I think going forward for sure we probably will just do another poll, because a lot of characters have been added since then, so we probably will just do another poll at some point where you guys can decide which can be the character coming in.
Because we've been doing a lot of very iconic characters, and now the characters that come in the chat are people that have a very special affection for one bot that's not necessarily very, very famous, but people really want it, so I think it's a nice thing.
Everyone has their favorite bots, right?
Yeah.
So everyone will have their passion. The Paddles is not gonna make it though, sorry, I'm afraid to break your heart. Do you have answers?
I have some answers. I just need one more, I think. I have 3 winners.
People are saying, let's focus on the G1, there's too many players that missing. I think the next bots, well, not the next ones, but the ones after are going to be G1 bots, so people are going to be happy about them.
Yeah. So we have some answers. The right answer was a brim on Cybertron is 8.3 minutes. 8.3.
So I wanted a different answer for
seconds.
YouTube.
Sorry, I picked up a wrong answer. That's really bad. Okay. So on Cybertron, a brim is equivalent to 8.3 Earth minutes. And the winners are Kick-Ass Prime from Evil Insurgents. We also have Mecha from Unicron's Legacy. And we have Canvas Peak from Scorched Earth. All of you three are a winner for this.
Congratulations! Yeah, give it a day or something before you can actually process the rewards. Hopefully it's a day, because a lot of our community has been going into some conference, I think, so we're a bit down with stuff at the moment, but you should be able to get it. If not, just let us know and we'll just get it around to you. Cool.
Cool. I'm just checking. Yeah, I haven't seen any new questions. I'm gonna go with the second trivia.
That's fine.
So Blot will be the new Decepticon, but what year did his G1 toy hit the shelves? So Blot is the new Decepticon, and in which year was his G1 toy released? I'm just gonna have a little look at the G1 toy again.
We're going to see how he looked back in the day. Oh yeah, he was.
It's quite similar to what we did, no?
No, that's a newer version. Yeah, that's probably the vintage one.
This one?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit different.
No, actually, no. This one. Yeah. So.
It's a bit simple.
So we'll say it again. So Blood is a new bot that's coming into the game. But what year was his original G1 toy released for the first time?
Yeah. So what's the release year of Blood's G1 toy?
Cool. We're asking, like, can we add more missions, more to the campaign?
There was a talk about this.
Yeah.
We talked about it for some like big release coming soon. Potentially, we did. Yeah, we talked.
Yeah, I think it's usually like we don't want to just do missions because it takes time for the designer to balance and do those bases, and a lot of the times the people just go through it in just one sitting. So it's not really a good return on investment, both from us and both from you. Like if we're gonna have a designer just work for a week to make this campaign, he could be doing a lot of things at that point. So
work on a lot of bugs.
A lot of bugs, a lot of like making characters, making cores, making things. So we definitely want to plan to do another one when it's another big thing coming into the game, and there probably will be one in the future, but not at the time.
Yeah, it has to come for Wizardry Fisher or like a big character release or something. So the answer to the trivia, so the question was, when was Blood's G1 toy released, the very first version then? It was in 1987. And the winners are Monster from Long Shadows. I don't know what... Xile Seeker Blade Runner? I don't know which one is the Alliance.
I think it's Blade Runner.
Xile
Seeker is the Alliance one.
Okay, yeah, probably. And then we have Popperclops from LOK United.
Oh, congratulations, guys.
Congratulations, yeah, again, like the gift will come. We usually say 24 hours, but because we don't really have a support team right now, and they are all on the conference, it might come on Monday. Yeah. Be a bit patient. If it doesn't come, just write to the support and they will sort you out. They'll have your name.
Cool. Let's see. Let's go back to do some more Q&A before we finish off. So I probably will just show the bots just as a reminder of what we'll be covering today. So new characters coming in, Rook and Blood. They're going to be available in the leaderboard event that's coming in this weekend.
Both
Protector Bot and Terrorcon.
Collections are coming for them.
Yeah. So, and pretty much they're gonna probably be a part of a combiner coming soon. So hint, yeah. So you have that to be looking forward to.
Yeah, both of them are warriors. They have like an explosive decoy, something to divert the damages onto the decoys. Decoys with quite a lot of health.
Yeah. Cool. So that's all Blood 2. While we get some more questions. Screen froze. No, we're good.
I'm just looking for some question. Why do you guys have trouble with motorcycles?
don't really have trouble with motorcycles.
We just never made one.
No, we have.
Did we?
Yeah. Rastas is a motorcycle.
Ah, yeah.
It's one of the original bots we launched the game with, and she is a motorcycle. I guess
I'm a Decepticon.
the problem, I guess, with Groove would be, yeah, it's fine to do it as a chess piece, but even though, like, in the original animation, they managed to kind of scale Groove really big in order to make him the foot of the combiner, it would look really weird if we just had him as a foot of the combiner. It's one of the other reasons we didn't want to go with him, and we actually picked Rook. It is a weird thing. I guess back in the day in the original animation, they didn't really have to be thinking about, oh, let's do a toy version. Well, they did do a toy version, but the thing was, I think the original Defensor was a bit weird looking. The newer ones are better, but at least Groove is massive, like in comparison to the other bots, in order to make him fit. So yeah, we don't have anything about bicycles. We will hopefully put more bikes in the future, but we were planning on going for a combiner, and that was like our option, or we didn't even have an option. That was a requirement for our partners in Hasbro. So Rook joined the party.
Can we get more fuel cells and all 13 as rewards?
Fuel cells, as Haro would like to say, it's part of his economy. He thinks that making any changes to that will actually make a lot of changes to the economy of the game, and he doesn't want to experiment with that at the moment. I had asked him before, like, what if we increase the base one, but he's more happy to leave it as it is, because all the syncs and all the how we monitor the people's activities is based on that, and he's more happy to keep this as it is. As for R13, there is an ability to buy some from the Sonic store, so if you are low on that, you can get something using your Sonic's coins. Also, you can use it. You can use less R13, I guess, if you get lucky and you get more than one combiner. I think our new feature that allow us to use multiple combiners when needed is actually quite great way of actually keeping the all cost lower, and actually to keep using combiners more than you used to be able to.
Other questions, are we going to get more female characters? Yes.
Yeah, in the future for sure.
I think the next one is a female character.
I don't think it is a female character.
I think it is.
No? That's the one we already have.
Oh. Well, maybe not then. Not quite yet. But
yeah, I mean, if there's some cool characters, for sure we're gonna have a look. But we do want to go a bit like old school, like after our next set of characters go G1, and some ideas we have in the future. But like we have a whole next year and a year after that, so definitely you're gonna see more female characters eventually.
Also, question about Computron. Is it coming soon to Earthwars?
I would not think so, because we pretty much have none of the bots.
That is composing Computron.
So maybe we start working on it. You probably can see him in a year's time. So no, at the moment it's not really the plan to have Computron, but let's see how it goes. And I mean, like a while ago there was no pretty much bots for Defensor, and we did get them all in eventually. So we'll see if they start popping up, then you have the hope that eventually you're gonna be doing him.
Yeah, I can see a lot of like bot suggestion. So we cannot really tell if all those bots are gonna come or not, but I'm definitely gonna take note of them and know that you guys want to see them in the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we always are open to suggestions, and the new characters coming up, as I said, was like freely requested in the channel, so we are always listening to that. Let's see what else is there. probably have just a few minutes remaining in the thing because my laptop is also gonna die. But any questions? People are like people are saying about the ore harvester and the thing that you can have more ore in there, and if you use it wrong, you can lose it. To be honest, I had to look at some point in the past. I had to look to see if I could actually change that, and so you could get the harvester that you were missing and keep the remaining in there. It was more like a bit confusing at the time, and because I think it's the same technology we use everywhere else in the game. Like we grab it from the server, so it's not like that's why it's not as simple to just do a change. I do maybe we'll see like if I can instead put like a kind of a prohibition that it will ask you that you're gonna lose some of the ore and like stop you from doing it. Maybe we'll go there, but yeah, I will just try to have another look in the future about actually trying to do something, because I know it can be painful, and we do have more plans coming up how what you will need this ore 13 in the future. So, and you're gonna have a 5th combiner soon. So yeah, for sure we're gonna have a look at it.
We're also running out of battery on the phone.
Yeah, well, the battery on the phone is dying, the battery on the laptop is dying, but we only have 2 minutes, so it's good. We made it mostly scot-free, mostly with no issues, except for that thing where we had the music too loud. It's not a bad show for the first try.
We answered a lot of questions. I think we covered all of it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good. So as a reminder, I guess we're gonna start wrapping up here. New bots in the game this weekend. The challenge battle is now live and should be fixed. Blood and Rook.
There are 2 warriors.
2 warriors, part of a combiner set or a new or like a team for now, combiner in the future at some point. And gonna be a leaderboard event this weekend, so you have a chance to get a 3-star, 4-star, and for sure a 2-star version by just playing the game with other cool rewards. So yeah, participate and good luck, and hopefully you actually get it.
2 weeks.
So you'll see Fabian in 2 weeks because I'll be on holiday. It's my time to join, like, but higher in depth. Hopefully we'll be here and you guys can take it in. But yeah, 2 weeks time, another stream, another guy to host the stream, but we'll be here for sure to get your questions and showcase more new stuff. So good luck all, and thanks for joining us. Have a good 2 weeks, and I'll
see you then.
Bye bye.
Bye.